Welcome everyone to the March Igniting Souls Fellowship. Thank you for being here online and here live as well. So today we're going to be talking about closing the gap. Yesterday I was at an event where I had about 20 women. We were just hanging out, kind of a girls' night out. And someone decided to go around and ask the question, what is your bucket list? What's one thing on your bucket list? And we're talking, some people wanted to go to a certain country. Some people were thinking about a language that they wanted to speak. But what is it between us and our bucket list? There's this huge gap. There's something that we are not able to get to the other side because of that. It might be money, it might be time, there's so many different things. Belief system. But I'm here to say that today we're going to get to learn how to close that gap. I want to go ahead and welcome up our Chief Igniter. Would everyone please welcome with me, Kary Oberbrunner.
All right, how you guys doing today?
Good.
Yeah, I woke up bright and early, pretty excited. I was singing that one song, Lightning and Thunder. Does anyone know that weird song? I have no idea why it was in my head, but I sang it this morning for my family, and they said, you're in a good mood. I'm like, hey. It's good to be alive, right? Last month I was in a sling and I couldn't even move my arms, so it's a good day. It's a good day. We have some special guests with us today. Someone drove 5 hours to be here. Isn't that amazing? Let's give these two a big hand. Yeah. Awesome. And you guys tell us your name again.
I'm Lee.
Lee?
Sherry.
Sherry, we got a gift for you. Got a gift for you. All right, this is... Can you come up here, Lee? I won't ask you to stand on stage, but there's some goodies in there.
Hey, thanks.
All the way from our friend Zig Ziglar, the late Zig Ziglar, okay? So good for you. Glad you're here. D'Angelo, welcome. We got some other new people as well. Dan, welcome. All right, let's jump right in, folks. Today we're going to discover, I always like this when someone tells me what I'm going to get before I get it. Isn't that good? I don't like surprises. So after you hear these 3 points, if you don't like it, you can leave, okay? It's a joke. All right. How to identify your ultimate dream. We're going to talk about that. How do you identify your ultimate dream? We're also going to talk about the clarity regarding what's holding you back. Wouldn't that be good if you understood what was holding you back? Wouldn't that be good? By the way, Erica, we got a live stream going on too. I'd love for people to say where they're from. Do you know where people are from?
The UK, New York, Colorado.
Fantastic. The UK, it's like 1 p.m. or something, 2 p.m., something like that. Welcome. All right, good stuff. And we're also going to be talking about a three-step framework for closing the gap between your dreaming and your doing. Cool? Good stuff? All right. This is called the Igniting Souls Fellowship. We've been in existence for 5 years. We've been doing this every single month in, month out. We've always done it in Dublin, Ohio, but then in 2018 we decided to do it here in Lewis Center, Ohio. And our mission, the reason why we do these free for the public, because David sets up the cameras, we have to get the location. It's a lot of work, but we love to do it because we know that we're igniting souls. That is the goal today. The goal is that you have your soul ignited. And one of the ways you guys can do that, especially on the social media, is to share it. If you guys can share it, that'd be great. It kind of creates this big swell of excitement. We got a lot of people then who watch online. And then people share afterwards and they say, oh, this is cool. Go watch this mom or go watch this brother or sister. So we're talking today. By the way, we're going to give away 3 gifts for everybody who shared. Okay, so Erica, you already know what those gifts are. We got 3 gifts today. The first one we're going to give is an ebook. This ebook is called How to Launch a Book and Earn 6 Figures in 6 Weeks. Tom, you're going to launch a book here soon. Buckeyes for life. So if we got any Michigan fans, I'm sorry, okay? But Tom's got a book coming out. How many other people have a book that they're working on? Raise your hand. Renee, Kevin, awesome. Very good. What about online? I'd love to hear online what your book's called. Love to hear it. But we're going to share a system that literally we used to earn 6 figures in 6 weeks. And it's all about 3 phases of your launch. The pre-launch, the launch, and the post-launch. Very critical pieces. Most authors don't even think about that stuff. They just say, oh, I wrote a book. I hope the world finds out. You have to do things in your pre-launch phase, you have to do things in your launch phase, and you have to do things in your post-launch phase. Even if you've already written a book, you can relaunch it. Later this afternoon, I'm going to interview Mary Riesberg, one of our authors, and she's going to talk about how she relaunched a book and how it actually 10x'd the first launch. And that is pretty exciting. The other thing we're going to give everybody is a free training tomorrow. Even if you can't be on it live, no problem. We'll send it to you guys as well. So Erica's putting the links in there. You guys, I'll send the links later today, okay? If you registered, I'll do that. And then I decided to put Elixir Project for free today. So everybody can get it on Kindle. And I did that on purpose today with the fellowship because I thought, you know what? Hey, some people want to read fiction. And it's free. It's on Kindle. You have to click buy now with one click, but it's really free, okay? It's zero, okay? So we just want to do that because we want to equip you guys. We want to arm you guys with resources so you kind of know how to be unhackable in work and life or these things. All right, my name's Kary Oberbrunner, and that is not my picture, but we'll talk about that in a moment. But I'm glad to be here today. My goal in life is to really ignite souls. I believe that when you are a soul on fire, the world changes. How many of you think that most of the world is not on fire? What do you think? Yeah, I agree. Anywhere from 70 to 86% of the population is not a soul on fire. Now, where do I get that from? I get it from the Gallup poll. The Gallup surveys people, and they say how many of you are engaged at work, and it's 29%. And then I also look at that number because 86% of the population right now across the world says, 86% of people say, I wish I didn't have my current day job. So let's face it, folks, if you are not engaged and if you don't like your day job and you're spending most of your time there every week, do you think that you're not going to be a soul on fire, right? Yeah. And what's the cost, right? We often ask, well, what's the cost of that? The cost is your legacy. And where do I get that from? Because Carl Jung, a Swiss psychologist, as you know, I've said this before to you if you're an oldie but a goodie, I've said that Carl Jung in all of his studies said that the most damaging thing in the life of a child is not alcoholism, it's not abuse, it's not abandonment, it's not drug use, it's the unlived life of the parent. So whether you have kids or you don't, you have people watching you. I know, Jeff, you have some nieces and nephews. They're watching him. Some of you have grandkids. They're watching you. Some of you have friends. And what they're doing is they're saying, is this person on fire? Because they look up to you. And if they can tell that you are not a soul on fire, that affects them. They figure, why should I keep going to school? Why should I keep doing my dream? I think there's two people in life. There's the person like this, Tangled, right? You ever see this movie? I have daughters, so I'd probably watch this anyway. No, I'm kidding. But when you have kids, you can watch movies that you would get laughed at by your friends, right? Is this true? All right. So I watched Tangled probably more than once, just because my daughters wanted me to. But the point is this. She is a dreamer. She's a dreamer. And like most Disney movies, the main character has a dream, right? That's kind of the main premise of all Disney movies. But she walks into this rough bar, if you will. Let's not call it a bar. Let's call it a rough restaurant, okay? But no, I'm kidding. But there's all these Viking characters in this movie. And they all surround her, and she's in a rough, tough group. And she basically stands up and says, I've got a dream. And everyone who's rough, tough, tattoos, they got horns coming out of their head. You'll see them in a moment. They are not cool. All right? They're like, what do you mean you got a dream? And it's this, for little kids, it's probably this moment of conflict. Like, what's going to happen to Rapunzel right here? By the way, anybody online watch Tangled? Do we have any Tangled fans? I don't know. I'm curious. But what's really cool about this is that, check this out. By the way, I didn't know that animated until I went through my slides this morning. I'm like, well, that's scary. But what happens is her dream begins to light a fire in that restaurant. And what happens next is all these rough, tough guys, they begin to act silly and funny. And this guy hops on the piano and he says, I have a dream to be a concert pianist. And he starts living out his dream. Why? Because somebody else unleashed him. That's the power when you begin to say yes to your dream. This isn't a pat on the back. This is actually an encouragement to you guys. Because I said yes to my dream, you guys, some of you have said yes to your dream. Do you realize that? Kevin, I'm calling you on stage, buddy. Can you come up? Because you look like one of these rough, tough dudes. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You got a beard. Let's give Kevin a hand. All right. You got to step right there. By the way, I do this often. This isn't like, oh my gosh, what's he doing? You're here.
This is totally unscripted.
Oh, this is unscripted. I'm very comfortable with this. Some people text me and they're like, do not call me on stage today. Okay? No names. But so Kevin, you have said yes to your dream.
I have.
What are you working on? What are you writing these days?
So my dream is to write, and ironically, I got nothing but straight C's in school when it came to literature and writing and everything. So I know that this is a direction that the Lord is leading me in. But my first book, targeted to be published by second quarter of this year, Lord willing, is going to be called Killing the Cultural Christian.
Killing the Cultural Christian.
Yeah. So
sounds pretty soft. Okay, so it's a little edgy. It's
right. Yeah, it's really taking a look at how we have a tendency to use our own knowledge, ability, and effort to live out the Christian faith.
Okay.
When in reality, it's walking in humility and surrender to the Lord.
Okay.
And so it's very much a faith-based.
Faith-based book.
Yeah.
So we have other people in the room who are doing business books. Rick, Pitch with Purpose. I don't even know what you call Buckeye book. Maybe a entertainment book. I don't know. No, it's sports. It's sports. Inspirational.
That's spiritual.
I love it. Spiritual. All right. Spiritual book. But the neat thing is I love what you said. I have a dream, yet I got C's in school. Do you notice that? You're gonna find this as a principle that we're gonna talk about today. I have a dream, but my date book or checkbook says I can't do it. I have a dream, but the one I sleep next to every night isn't for it. I have a dream, but my mom or dad, who are deceased, would kill me and come back from the grave if they knew what I was going to do.
Can I share something?
Sure.
Just real
This is
personal?
unscripted. You can share whatever.
Yes. I was living my day job for many years. I had a successful career in the corporate world, and literally, it's been a 2-year journey where I've finally gotten to the point where I've recognized with clarity that I've personally been called out to lead the corporate world, and that transition is so hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard because you get sucked into exactly what you're talking about, and.
Are you out yet, or you're still in process?
March 30th is my last day.
So you're undercover today. You're undercover. Yeah.
I am. Yes.
Yeah, right.
I'm incognito.
So that's why we're live streaming you with the world. Right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
They all know though, so it's all good.
So this is providential. I didn't know that you were 2 weeks away.
Yeah, literally 2 weeks away, and I was at men's fraternity this morning and was talking about taking a step of faith, and I was on this very stage actually, and I talked about taking that step of faith and not knowing I don't know where this is going to lead me,
Awesome.
but I'm being faithful to what I believe the Lord is calling me to.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's give Kevin a hand. Awesome. Anybody feel a little bit inspired by Kevin's story?
Yes.
That's the power of dreams. That's what dreams do. Now, you're going to get cynics and critics. Trust me. We're going to talk about those, okay? Because why? Well, we'll mention why people are so cynical. Why do people come across someone with a dream, and it's almost like they have this crazy gut reaction of cynicism or criticism? We'll talk about why that happens. This gentleman wants to be an opera singer. Obviously, that's not me because I can't sing. And then I have no idea what this dude wants to be. It's actually this very scary picture, but he's got 2 unicorns. And so the point is this. The point is that Rapunzel's dream ignites other people to have their dreams as well. Anybody know this dude, right? Martin Luther King Jr., right? Very powerful. Now notice he did not say, I have a plan. How many people do you think would have showed up if Martin Luther King Jr. said, I have a plan? What do you think? People would be like, what? No, I'm not going. Plans don't inspire. What if he said, we have a dream? What do you think? Anybody? What if he said, we have a dream? What's that?
That wouldn't work either.
Isn't it weird that the masses of people came to a man who said, I have a dream, whereas if he said, we have a dream, it probably would have been not that inspirational. Why is that? Why does the world stand up and take notice when somebody says, I have a dream? It's powerful. You know, we watch these shows perhaps back in the day, American Idol or whatever's the latest, greatest, but we love dreams. It's like, it's the language of our heart. In fact, that's a good tweet. You like that, Joel? Can you write that down? Dreams are the language of the heart. Future book. All right. Here's the point. Look at all these people. Look at all these people. It's crazy. All these masses of people came to hear Martin Luther King Jr., and he painted it with words. He said, I have a dream that my children, and then he went on to tell a future story, a future reality. Some of you are going through the deeper path right now, and that's actually what we encourage you to do. We encourage you, write this down if you're taking notes. Every dream has a someone, a something, and a somewhere. Every dream has a someone, a something, and a somewhere. In my vocabulary, I call this a tribe, a cause, and a space. And don't think I'm talking about a zip code. I'm talking about the future world that your dream will create. We talked a little bit about faith. Jesus Christ told a dream. Does anyone know what it was called? The Sermon on the Mount. So here's this guy, and he talks about a future tribe, cause, and space. Steve Jobs, when he used to launch an Apple product, he talked about a tribe. In fact, he talked about it so clearly. Do you guys remember the Apple commercials? The PC guy and the Apple guy? How were those commercials able to be just eaten up by pop culture? Why? Because he depicted a tribe. He says, we are not this, and we are this. Ask yourself, does your dream have a clearly defined tribe? Tom's does. Michigan fans aren't going to like his book. In fact, they're going to buy it and probably burn it. But you'll get money for it. So that's very smart strategy. No, I'm kidding. But he has a very clear tribe. And then what's your cause? I shared my cause 5 minutes ago. What did I say my cause is? It's 2 words. Igniting souls. Clarity attracts, confusion repels. Clarity attracts. If you say no one's following my dream, why? Is it clear? Is it clear? David, you've been doing a great job with Facebook ads. David has a whole program called Business Academy Elite. We are attracting tons of haters. Every day now, I get up and I can see what the comments are. We've gotten more people like cussing at me and saying all kinds of colorful things. And it's, you know what? I'm actually excited. I'm actually excited. Why am I excited? Anybody? Why am I excited?
Getting attention.
Getting attention. Getting attention. If no one is opposed to your dream, maybe your dream isn't big enough. What do you think? If you're not getting any energy or opposition against your dream, maybe it's not big enough, bold enough, clear enough. Because last time I checked, when JFK stood at Rice Stadium and said, we're going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade, I always think of the Wonder Years dad. Remember that guy? Remember the Wonder Years? Am I the only weird one? No. Okay, Jeff, you're weird too. Good. All right. But the Wonder Years, right? I love that show growing up. And I think of Kevin's dad as like watching the JFK thing in his armchair with a beer and just like, just chucking the whole TV over when he heard that. Why? Because he was cynical. He was critical. But I think that dream inspired other people, young people perhaps, old people, who knows? But it lit people on fire. Let's talk about this first thing, how to identify your ultimate dream. Because I told you we're going to do 3 things. Now I'm going to tell you the 3 things. You ready? How are we doing on the live stream, Eric? Is anyone swearing yet?
Nope.
All right, okay.
All
Just checking. Now they all will. No, I'm kidding. But the reason why I'm excited about some of the Facebook interaction is because I know who the tribe, isn't. If people are angry and stuff. But here's the other cool thing. When people get upset with you for the right reason, not because you're a jerk or idiot or something, but the other people who get you, they actually become more impassioned. Why is that? Why do the other people who are part of the tribe become more impassioned when they see opposition? Anybody?
I mean, they feel like it's a personal attack for them too.
Okay. Yeah.
Strengthens your own purpose,
There you go.
your individual purpose.
There you go. Excellent. Wow, smart crowd. How to identify your ultimate dream. Your dream is supposed to scare you. Uh-oh, watch out. Kevin's scared. He raised his hand. That's good. If it doesn't, then it's either too small or it's not your real dream. Ouch. Your dream is supposed to scare you. If it doesn't, then it's either too small or it's not your real dream. You agree? Yeah? I try to actually get scared every day. I really do. When you guys know this, some of you. In fact, it's worth a free drink, whoever gets this. What does the word entrepreneur mean? Does anyone know this? I only found out like a month ago, so don't worry.
Go-between.
What's that?
Go-between.
Go-between? Here's the risk taker. Very close. Yeah.
Bearer of risk.
Bearer of risk. There you go. I gotta buy David a drink. You were very close. You're right on. Bearer of risk. When you say that I am going to be an entrepreneur, even in your mindset, because there's a big difference. There's some people that have the mindset of an entrepreneur that are still in their day job. I don't think everyone should quit their day job. No. But here's what I do know. Any Shawshank fans in the house? Anybody? Shawshank Redemption? They were called institutionalized. Remember that? Remember Brooks, the old guy who hung himself? Why did he hang himself? Not because of the physical bars that were around him, because he actually got free. Why did he kill himself? Because of what bars? The mental bars, the internal bars. In other words, he created conditions for himself that imprisoned him. That's what I'm passionate about. I don't care where you work, but I care about mentally if you're one who says, I am going to bear risk. Why? Because life is a risk. All right? Anytime you do anything in life, it's a risk. But some of us, think about it. Oh, I saw something the other day. I got to share this with you guys. I was watching a Facebook video, and they showed playgrounds in the early 1900s. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I mean, I couldn't believe it. There is probably ladders and bars that go up to the ceiling. I'm not even joking. And they got like 5-year-olds hanging on it. And I'm thinking, what in the world? And then they show pictures with their, of course. Look at what we do today. You know? The cops pull you over if you don't put your child in this airbag and fasten it with a 5-point safety system. You see what I'm saying? And I'm all for child protection. But we have airbags all around us. Guys, we live in a world today that has essentially taken risk out of our psyche. The biggest risk is, is Panera have my smoothie or not? Right? I mean, think about it. Right? We used to live in a world that said, today may be the day that the tiger gets me. Today may be the day that the tsunami comes. And now it's like, well, gee, they had to use blueberry instead of strawberry. So, you see what I'm saying? No wonder why we are hungry as a society for adventure and risk. True? Have you seen some of the corporate events that happen? Guys, girls who are high-powered CEOs pay like, 20 grand to go on this essentially basic training type of event where the Army, does that for free. But these high-powered people do it so that they can feel alive again. That's what a dream does. A dream helps you remember that you are alive. Joel, got to do that one. A dream remembers, what did I just say? I forget.
Helps you.
A dream helps you remember that you're alive. That's the purpose of a dream. Because otherwise, we think we're dead. We're dead at 30 or 20 or 80, but we just haven't made it official yet. All right, here's the next one. So, how do you know? How do you know if it's your ultimate dream? Does it scare you? And if it doesn't scare you, it's too small. Or it's not real. This is big, folks. We could camp on this for 3 hours. Don't worry, we won't. The purpose of your dream is not in achieving the dream. This is deep here. But rather, the person you become in the process of achieving it. The dream is not the goal. The dream is not the ultimate. The ultimate is saying, that's the type of person I would need to become in order to achieve it. Does this make sense with everybody? We talked a little bit about the Buckeyes. Don't worry, I'm going to talk one more time. And this isn't just for you, Tom. But I'm a big fan of wrestling. I was a wrestler in school. Tomorrow, the national championships are happening. Okay? And the Buckeyes are favored to be number one. And some of you, who came to the Igniting Souls conference last year? Who did you meet? Remember his name? Kyle Snyder. Best wrestler who ever lived. Youngest Olympic champion ever. World champion twice over. He has to face a guy that 3 weeks ago he lost for the first time in 3 years. Do you know why? Because he's wrestling a guy who's 65 pounds more than him, which is like, nobody would ever do that. But you have to do that in heavyweight. What is Kyle thinking about? He's not thinking, all these last 3 weeks he wasn't thinking about, I got to win the championship. I got to win the championship. I got to win the championship. If that was his goal, he would have fallen short 3 weeks ago when he lost. His goal the last 3 weeks is, who do I need to become in the next 3 weeks so that I can beat Adam Kuhn, the Michigan guy, who beat me? You see the difference? One is, I got to win the national championship. That's small. That's external. Who cares about that? Instead, he's saying, who do I need to become? That's what your grid should be. If you say, I don't know enough powerful people, I don't know enough influential people, I don't have enough connections, you don't say, how can I meet this person? How can I get from this person? Say instead, who would I need to become in order to influence that influencer? That changes the whole equation. Does this make sense? It's so simple that we might miss it, but it's very powerful. How often has anybody said this? I can't do that. Let's be honest. Come on, when you look at a dream, you look and you say, I can't do that. You know what? This is powerful. Simple. The most powerful stuff is simple. What you're really saying is, I can't become that. Ooh, did you hear that? When you see something bigger than you, what you say in your mind is, I can't do that. What you really mean is, I can't become that. That's what dreaming and a dream achievement is. I've been studying it for well over a decade now. The science of dream achievements. And it always is built around who you become, not what you do. They've done research, you can Google this. They've looked at millionaires who've lost it all and then regained it back again. The odds are crazy staggering. Compared to the people who've achieved millions of dollars, lost it, and then regained it back again, compared to those who never achieved it. Why? Anybody? What do you think?
They knew they could do it. They've been there once.
They knew they could do it. They broke the barrier mentally first. You guys know this. You guys know this. You know these stories. You could be up here teaching. What was the guy? The mile. What's his name? Roger Bannister. What did they say would happen to the physical body if a man or a woman ran under 4 minutes? They die. Your heart's going to blow up. Oh, sign me up. I'll be the first one. So the whole time you're running, subconsciously you're like, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Then Roger Bannister breaks it, and then what happens? He didn't die, and how many people broke it within the next 12 months? Crazy. So all of human history couldn't break the 4-minute mile. Then one guy does it, and then slews of people do it. Why is that? Because Roger Bannister broke a belief. Did you catch that? Roger Bannister broke a belief, and then the record was broken. And as a result, everyone else broke it. Now, this is just as powerful for our online audience as well as our physical audience. You may come from a family that says, none of us have ever graduated from college. None of us have escaped the ghetto. None of us have ever gone into the business world, whatever it is. None of us have ever stayed single. Fill in the blank. Whatever you've been told, that's a belief. And I would ask you, is that belief a match with your dream, or is it not a match? Now, this is very powerful. I know Susan in the room helps people with the right eating, correct eating. But I encourage you to do this. Go to the refrigerator of your beliefs. Okay? Go to the refrigerator of your beliefs. This is powerful. If you guys do this, I'm telling you, things will change. First step, who do I need to become in order to achieve my dream? Write that down. Who do I need to become in order to achieve my dream? Who do I need to become in order to achieve my dream? Once you have that clear mental picture, then what you do, just like Susan helps people go to the refrigerator and say, what is your ideal body? What's your ideal weight? Whatever. Then you can go to the refrigerator and you can say, oh, Doritos, not a match, right? Carrots, match. Mountain Dew, not a match, and everyone's getting mad now. Right? Unsweetened almond milk, I don't know, match, whatever. But you get this clear mental picture, and you begin to suddenly say, match and not a match. We haven't done that for our belief system. We haven't gone to the refrigerator of life and said, okay, here's who I need to become. So now I'm going to go to my belief system and say, oh, constant negativity. Guess that won't survive. Positivity, okay. And for all you negative people, fine. Not positive, realism, okay, whatever. Okay, some of you are like, I just can't be a false positive person. Fine, whatever, okay? But you see where I'm going? This is what I had to do. This is what I had to do in life, many times. Because I had the personal belief system. You went to school to be a pastor. You couldn't go into the business world. Oh, that was a belief that I had. What did I do? I changed my belief. And I said, you know what? I'm going to fortify my belief about other people who, same thing. Other people. That's what you need to do sometimes. You need to get around other people who are who you want to be. You've heard it. You guys know this. Jim Rohn's quote, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around with most. In fact, look at what the 5 people that you hang around most eat. Look at what they listen to. Look at what their income statements are. Look at how they invest. And literally, the 5 people that you hang around with the most are usually those types of people. So sometimes we need to get a new group, right? It's not that you trash everyone in your family and say, well, I can't talk to you anymore. But here's what I'm asking you to change. Who's speaking into your life? Who are you letting speak into your life? I'm not talking about breaking relationship with, the people who are your own blood. But what I'm saying is, it's no longer letting them have access to the direction of your life. Make sense? Am I stepping on any toes in a good way? In a good way. Anybody? Okay, good. In a bad way? Okay. All right, here we go. So you got your ultimate dream? You ready? You got that, right? Ready for the next one? Clarity regarding what's holding you back. This is super small. We'll give you the slides, okay? We'll give you the slides. Eric, I'll give those to you later. Don't worry about it, and you can put them in. This is called the hero's journey, which you've probably heard about. What you probably haven't heard about is the next slide called the hero's inner journey. See? We've all probably heard about this guy named Joseph Campbell who wrote The Hero with 1,000 Faces. He talks about this thing called the monomyth, and Star Wars is built around this. Lord of the Rings is built around this. Annie is built around this. Little Women is built around this. Wrinkle in Time is built around this. Every single story that we love, including the story of Moses, this is all the hero's journey. And it goes something like this. You're in an ordinary world. Think about it. Where was Frodo?
Shire.
The Shire. Thank you. I forgot the word. But here's what my coach said to me. Do you know this quote? My coach, Chet, for years, when I wanted to go pro, he said, you can't take the ring and stay in the Shire. Now, if you're not a Lord of the Rings fan, you're like, well, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But if you are a Lord of the Rings fan, you'll love that quote. That's Chet Scott. You can't take the ring, meaning the big adventure, the risk, and stay in the Shire. You can't. So what usually happens is we have this thing in the top sphere called the ordinary world. And the ordinary world, you have, number 2, a call to adventure. Some of you who came to the Igniting Souls conference in the years past, you know I showed that Matrix clip where Neo literally gets the phone, and that's his call to the adventure. And it's, hey, this is Morpheus. And you see that in the Matrix 1, every single step happens in the movie. And in your heart, you're saying, without even knowing, yeah, that's me. I totally get that. That makes sense. But I'll just name the steps. Ordinary world, call to adventure, refusal of the call. When you get the call, very few people are like, oh, sign me up. Sign me up to write a book. Sign me up to, have a terminal illness that you conquer and crush. Very few people say, sign me up. But then you meet with the mentor. Okay? You meet with the mentor. For Matrix, it was Morpheus. For Lord of the Rings, it was the white beard dude. What was his name? Gandalf. For Luke Skywalker, it was Yoda? Few of them, right? Obi-Wan? Yeah, all that stuff. You guys see how this happens? This is your story too. You coming here today, I'm not saying I'm your mentor. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Maybe the person next to you is. But what's powerful is you answered a call. Someone came and found us today through Eventbrite. I don't even know how you guys found out about us, But you're here for a reason. It's not by accident. Meet with a mentor. Then step 5 is cross the threshold, where you're kind of straddling the fence and you're like, well, that's safe and secure, and I know what that is. Even though it's prison, at least I know where my food's coming from. Right? I mean, true? And then this side is like, whoa, right? Whoa. And I get that. The only reason I can be up here authentically and teach this is because I have lived it. with my nice, safe mortgage and the day job and the 12 years and the expense account and the nice title and everything's fine. And then I get the knock on the door to my heart saying, year after year after year, there's something more. Well, I don't know what it is. We're going to talk about that. How do you get clarity? Right? I don't know what it is. I'm going to talk about this in a moment, but clarity comes with action. Clarity comes with action. I see way too many people saying, well, I'm just going to sit here until I'm clear. Okay, you are light in my book. You are light. And so as you take a step, what happens? Where does that light go? And then as you take another step, and another step, right? Clarity comes with action. We'll talk about that in a moment. Number 6, tests, allies, and enemies. Then number 7, the approach. You start getting close. Number 8, the ordeal, which is a death and a rebirth. Now wonder why we don't want the special world, because it means a death. A death of what? A death of prejudice. A death of fear. A death of whatever. Number 9, reward and seizing the sword. How cool is that? Is that just a cool step? Where are you in your hero's journey? I'm at seizing the sword.
Pulling it out of the sword.
Yeah, exactly, right? I love that. And then number 10, the road back. Where do you always go back in the hero's journey?
To the Shire.
You go back to where you came from. Isn't that powerful? You go back to where you came from, a new person, a changed person. Number 11, resurrection. And number 12, return with the elixir. Ooh, is that why I called it Elixir Project? Absolutely. Okay? There's deeper meanings in that whole book. But my point is that this is the hero's journey. And a lot of us said, oh yeah, I've heard of that. But how many of you have heard of the hero's inner journey? Where step 1 is limited awareness of the problem. How many people are like, yeah, that's me. Increased awareness of need for change. You feel that stirring in your heart?
Oh, yes.
You feel that misalignment? How many of you have ever been on a road trip and you take your hands off the wheel a little bit and the car starts going left? And you put your hands, keeps going left. What do we say about the tires? They're out of alignment. Some of you online, your life is out of alignment. Some of us in here, our life is out of alignment. Don't blame yourself. Don't curse the unalignment. In fact, invite it. Say, thank you that I can feel the misalignment. You know why? Dead people feel nothing. Last time I checked, last funeral I went to, reached in the casket, lifted it up, fell back down. No, I'm kidding. I didn't do that. Okay? Dead people feel nothing. So the fact that you feel like your life is out of alignment is actually a really good sign. It's a sign that you feel life. That's a good thing. All right. Number 3, fear or resistance to change. By the way, I'm going to ask you, some of you online, you need to tag somebody right now. You had a conversation this week with somebody at Starbucks or somewhere at a restaurant, and they were talking about this. They were saying that they felt like things weren't quite right, that they were going in circles, that things weren't adding up. Tag them, be a friend, share it. Our passion is to ignite 1 million souls. Number 5, commitment to change. Number 6 is experimenting with new conditions. Number 7, preparing for change. Number 8, big changes with feelings of life and death. Not always physically. The life and death of a relationship. The life and death of a job. The life and death of a false belief. Number 9, accepting the consequences of new life. This is what happened to Luke. This is what happened to Frodo. This is what happened to Neo. This is what happened to Meg in A Wrinkle with Time. A Wrinkle in Time. What is it? I forget. I saw it, whatever the movie was called. But that's what Meg felt, right? Meg felt that. She went through her own hero's journey inwardly. Number 10, and by the way, movies that don't do this well, they tank. Okay? Number 11, 10, new challenge and restoration. Number 11, final attempts and last-minute danger. And number 12 is mastery. So you go through all those changes, and then you get a pipe and you sit on the back porch and drink lemonade, right? What happens usually in life once you complete, I saw Dan doing it. Then you go to the next one, and you go to the next one, and you go to the next one, and suddenly you look back at yourself 10 years ago, and you say, I don't even recognize myself. The worst thing in the world would be for someone to come up to me and say, oh, I heard you speak 10 years ago. You're exactly the same person. Don't say that to me. I might cry or hit you, right? Here's my point. If I'm thinking the same thoughts and doing the same things that I was doing 10 years ago, there hasn't been growth. I want people to be like, oh my gosh, Eric, I remember doing Erica's interview. Do you realize that? I used to do all the Author Academy Elite interviews back when we were very small because we had the time. Now I actually am pushing our authors into new international opportunities because that's how I'm using my time. And we have a great interview team. But I remember talking to you, Erica. Remember this? The first call. And I say, hey, I liked your application. Where are you from? Delaware. And I'm like, oh, that's a few states over. That's cool. She's like, no, Delaware, Ohio. And I said, are you serious? That's like, 15 minutes from my house. And she began to tell a story about 5 kids, about a single mom, about a husband who, left her, about this crazy cool journey that God was telling her to write. And I'm thinking and I'm listening, and here's just the truth. I'm thinking, there's no way this woman that we can charge her. I said, there's no way. How am I gonna do that? And can I quote you? Since I already told half your story? Okay, good. And she said, I was so honored that they didn't give it to me for free. Now, I don't know if you've shared a piece of that. Why? That's crazy. Why would you say that?
Because I wanted to take ownership and really put my whole heart into it. And usually with your money, you put your heart into it if you have to put your money towards it.
Yeah. She's like, I want to own this book. I want to do this wholeheartedly. She put her whole heart into it, and look it. I've never got asked back to a Barnes & Noble. Truth. Nobody's like, oh, that book signing was so cool, we're signing you again. She has. She did Barnes & Noble book signing, and they called her back and said, hey, we want to order 50 more copies and have you back a second time. What about me? That didn't happen to me. So I am so excited for Erica. And I've seen her have this ministry and this exposure, and she's investing in other people, and God's doing crazy cool stuff with her life. You see how this is important? But guess what? She's now in another hero's journey. You see that? Same person, kind of, but different stakes. It's very cool. All right. Clarity comes with action. I'm going to give you three assignments. Okay? You don't have to do them. It's not like I can give you an F. Okay? If you believe in God, maybe He can give you an F, but I can't. Right? So clarity comes with action. Number 1, this is big. This is big metaphor here. Discern if the adventure in front of you right now, your dream, discern if it's a Red Sea versus a Jordan River. Let me explain. If you know the story, some of you don't, that's all right. Don't worry about it. I use business, music, Rapunzel. I'm all over the place today, okay? So it's all good. With the Red Sea, Moses is there, and he's told, raise your staff and watch the sea part. There are times that our dreams are like that. Has anyone ever had a dream like that where you're just along for the ride and it's like everything's opening up in front of you? It's crazy. I mean, you honestly can't take any credit because it just happened. There are times like that, but it's rare. Very few dreams in my life have ever been, Kary, just put your hand out and watch the Red Sea part, and there's going to come the people, the money, everything, the connections. There's been portions of it or times like it's been like that, but most of the time it hasn't been this crazy Red Sea. Most of the time, for me, it's been a Jordan River. If you know the Jordan River story, they are told, I think you actually did this motion, Kevin, a few seconds ago. I don't know if that's what you were, is that what you were referring to?
Yeah.
That's crazy. We didn't script this, all right? So with the Jordan River, they're told, stand at the edge and step. And as you step, the river's going to part. Whoa. But what happens if I step and it doesn't part? You know? I'm going to look foolish. And I'm going to get all wet. And I might get hurt. But most times in life, clarity comes with action. Let's be real. Do you have enough clarity to take the next best step? Some of you in your dream, right? In your dream, do you know the next best step? Anybody? Online? Because no one in the room is shaking their head. Okay, Pat, you're there. Okay. So let's talk about the next step here. Take imperfect action. Take imperfect action. Here's your assignment. Identify your next best step. So I got 3 assignments for you. What was number 1 assignment? Discern if it's a Red Sea or a Jordan River experience. Number 2, identify your next best step. So Tom here has a book that's done, and it's unedited. And so he knows the next best step. He contacted the guild. The guild's doing his editing now. And then once the edit's done, he'll take his next best step. And then once that's done, he'll take his next best step. That's how it happens. It's called imperfect action. Imperfect action. When we were told, after 5 years of meeting at the DEC, the Dublin Entrepreneurial Center, Chaz, good friend of mine, still good friend of mine, he's like, Kary, I don't think we can have you at the DEC anymore because of the room needing to be used by the city at that time. Okay? So what did I do? Oh, well, this is a sign from God, we should shut it down. No, I don't operate that way anymore. There's some people who operate that way. In fact, I think, I might get yelled at for this one. They give God too much credit. Now you might be like, what are you saying, buddy? Here's what I'm saying. They interpret every obstacle in life as God telling and showing them that they shouldn't take a step forward. If I would have lived my life that way, I'd be drinking the Mountain Dew with the Doritos, chilling on the couch, watching Rapunzel, okay? You get what I'm saying? In other words, I view life as, it's going to suck. All right, forgive my language. But that's how I view life. It's going to suck sometimes. But what are you going to do when it does? And what I say is, until God stops me, I'm going to take action. Ouch. Is that even right? Is that okay? Is that okay to say that? That my default is action until I am stopped. Instead of my default is inaction. When you start living your life that way, things change. And I know what some people say. Some people say, well, how do you know you're not deceiving yourself? How do you know this is, here's look, I'll go one more faith on you, then we'll bring it back to business, all right? There's a verse in the Bible. It says, delight yourself in God, and he will give you the desires of your heart. There's 2 ways to view that verse. One is, if I get tight with God, he'll give me the Lamborghini, okay? There's a lot of people who abuse that verse. If I get tight with God, he'll give me, the big house. The other way to view it is, if I get tight with God, through that relationship, I'll know what he wants because he will impress it upon my heart. If you have a significant other, Joel, if you're tight with your wife, do you know the honey-do list that she wants you to do? True?
Oh, yeah.
All right? If you're not tight with your wife, are you not communicating?
Mm-hmm.
And you guys aren't understanding each other? Absolutely. So your job, my job is to get tight with God and run, baby, run. Just, life's short, let's go nuts, okay? All right, step 3, the obstacle becomes the way. This is a Ryan Holiday change from a Marcus Aurelius quote. Marcus Aurelius, old dude, dead dude, who used to say, what stands in the way becomes the way. The obstacle becomes the way. What does that mean? That means that your brain is wired in a way that you will naturally list all the obstacles to your dream. And you know what? That's actually a good thing. See, so many times we say, well, here's my dream. Oh, look at all these obstacles. If you have obstacles to your dream, that is a really good thing. Do you know why? Dan Sullivan says all those things that oppose your goal are actually the raw material for achieving it. Everything that, oh, I want to start an online business. Well, I don't have a website. Action 1 is what?
Build a website.
Build a website. Well, I don't have a shopping cart. Action 2 is what? Get a shopping cart. Well, I don't know anybody. Option 3, get to meet people. You see how this works? Your brain works in a way where it's actually trying to find obstacles because it's a problem-solving machine. And what people of little faith and little drive and little heart say, look at all the obstacles. And the other types of people who aren't any better, but they're just willing to reframe them, they don't call them obstacles, they call them to-do. Take your obstacles, write everything down, then cross out the word obstacles and say to-do list. And when you do that, you will be amazed that everything is in front of you for your next steps. Is this true? Absolutely. All right, ready for number 3? The 3-step framework. You guys ready? How's the online people?
Doing great.
Yeah? They still liking it? No one's freaking out? Okay. Cool. I'd love to hear some assignments, some action items, Have people write down what's their biggest obstacle. And guess what I'm going to say in a minute? Well, that's your to-do list, right? So check it out. Here's the 3 steps. I'm going quick today because at the end I'm going to share our next step. I have a next step for you. You might not think you have a next step. I have a next step for you. I think it's a really good next step, but that only you can decide that. Confront the gap. Confront the gap. I took this straight from the Igniting Souls Conference website, okay? Sometimes running away sounds appealing, if even for a moment. But fleeing doesn't solve the problem. It only prolongs the pain. Ouch. Some of you need to write that down. Running away from my problem doesn't solve it. It only prolongs the pain, right? What stands in your way becomes the way when you're willing to confront the space between you and your dream. The first step is confront the gap. Not get the porn, buy the Netflix next series, go out and do a shopping spree, go out and blow money gambling. That just distracts us. All that does is distracts us from the pain. I'm saying that the way to overcome the pain is to actually choose it. Let me say it again. Most people's lives are chronic pain. The only way you're going to overcome chronic pain is to inject acute pain. You want to hurt a long time, i.e. rotator cuff torn and labrum for the rest of my life? Or are you going to go through hell for 5 weeks? And it was because I can't sleep with a sling out. Just, I felt like I had a newborn again. I'm holding my newborn all night, 5 weeks in a row. Hey, newborn, But is it worth it? Hey, I can move it today, okay? That's my point. You can live in life your chronic pain for the rest of your life. Or you can say, you know what, sign me up, Kary. It's acute pain. It's going to hurt. It's going to cost a little time, cost a little money, cost a little pain, but now you'll have a way forward. Number 2, combat the gap. You gotta combat the gap. It's a war. I love this quote I heard recently. And it was by Phil Knight of Nike Shoes. I've been listening to audiobooks on entrepreneurs lately, their bios. I don't know why. Right now I'm in hour 24 of Warren Buffett's 33-hour bio. It is pain, but I've learned a few things. It's pain. It's cute pain, trust me. But anyway, Phil Knight says, business is war without bullets. I like that. Business is war without bullets. Why? What do I think that I'm at war with people? No. But so many times we think, oh, business. Here it is. Birds singing and green grass and quiet streams. It's war. Without bullets. Here's another one. Up until now, the gap may have seemed outside you, hero's journey, but a deeper look reveals it's actually within you. Who was Frodo's enemy? Frodo. Who was Luke's enemy? Luke. Who was Meg's enemy? Meg. Folks, you think the battle is the external. It's you. It's you. It's me. Your goal is simply a future glimpse of who you need to become in order to achieve it. All this is found on the Igniting Souls conference website. And here's a little conference tip. Before David and I plan any event, I lock myself up in a room for 2 days and I write out all this stuff. Because I'm like, you can't have an event where you're going to ask people to fly from all over the world to just meet. Hey, let's just meet. I sit down and I say, what is the theme? What is the bedrock? What are the key takeaways? And here's what I say. What is the framework? This is the framework. Confront the gap, combat the gap, and you'll find out here in a moment. Winning means warring, at least for this season. This battle is won by surrender. Cool? All right. Next one. Close the gap. That's what today is about. Today is about closing the gap. And someone told me recently, well, what's the gap? Why don't you tell us what the gap is? I have no idea what the gap is in your life. I don't know if the gap is relational, financial, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical. Action outperforms perfection. Action outperforms perfection. Sure, there's a cost for acting, but there's an even higher one for doing nothing. This changed my life. When I realized every decision I make has a cost, including and especially indecision. Because I was not taught that. Nothing against my parents. I love them to death. They're coming. We're going to watch the wrestling match together, my dad and I. Super excited. Lifelong dream to do that with my father. But here's the point. They didn't teach me that. They kind of taught me indirectly. They never said this. But I kind of learned at times that, like, hey, if you make a decision, you can get your head chopped off. But if you just sit and don't make a decision, you don't really lose anything. Is that true? Indecision is actually a decision to stay exactly the same way. Indecision is you saying, I am so comfortable with where I'm at, I don't want to move, and I'm choosing to stay exactly who I am to be. That, my friends, may be the most costly decision of your life. Because you prepared for the moment is prepared for you, and by closing the gap, you'll open the door to everything you ever wanted. And I get it. There's probably some critics and cynics saying, whatever. You can disagree. It's your call. All I'm saying is I can base this on my life. That's what I do. All right, today was an event. I'm going to show you some cool stuff here. What can I do for you today? The most I could do for you today is to encourage you to make a decision. Maybe today you made a decision and you said, I'm going to talk to my parents, or I'm going to talk to my boss, or I'm going to say yes to that one thing. The best I can do today is motivate you. The best I can do today is make this a calendar issue, and thank you. You guys chose to invest your time by being here today. I thank you. Seriously, time is one of the things that's the most important thing to me, because I can never get it back. I can always get money back. Can't get time back. So you chose today to invest in yourself. And notice, write this down for some of you who are like, hey, was it worth it? If you got value today, if you got anything of value, a quote, an action, a tip, check this out. As you add value to yourself, you made yourself more valuable. Now, I'm not saying in the eyes of God, but let's face it. There's some people who make $5 an hour. There's some people who make $5,000 an hour. It's not because they're better. It's because of the value they bring. The value they bring. So, as you added value to yourself today, you became more valuable. You actually made an investment in yourself today. You're worth more. That's awesome. You should charge more for your hourly rate now. Is that cool? I just gave you a raise. Is that cool? Just gave everybody in the room a raise. Not because I did, but because you said, I'm going to invest in myself today. I'm going to grow. I'm going to learn. So you have every right to charge more for your services. Challenge people. The best I can do today is challenge you. Here's what I can't do today. It's a process. Today was not a process. Today's done. It's almost done. We got a few more minutes left. I can't encourage development. I can't mature you. I can't make it a culture issue in your life. And I can't change you. I know that. Whenever I come in and talk to people, I know I can only do the left side. At best, I can't do the right side. So what does this mean? This means I want you to engage in the process. It's your call. You can say, the event was great, I'm done. Or you can say, you know what? I want to know what's underneath the iceberg. Let me share what's underneath the iceberg. Today was the event. This is the process. The Igniting Souls Conference. I'm going to actually show you guys the trailer. Okay, you guys want to see the trailer? I hope so. It only cost me $2,000. Do you want to see it? Anybody want to see it? Yeah. All right. Don't tell my wife that. No, I'm kidding. No, it's all good. All right. So, do we have volume? I think you turned it up, right? You turned it up, right, Renee? It's all good, right? Okay. All right, so here we go. Ready, guys? Give it a shot. Cool thing is that this is in your own hometown. So if you guys are here, we literally have people from Australia coming, from the UK, from all over the world. You guys have to cross the street, okay? So I think, who did we have that one year who flew like 28 hours? Elias? Yeah. We've had a few people that 28 hours of travel to be here. Now, I think they're crazy, but that's okay. It's all right. So what I want to do now is I want to just talk briefly about the event called the Igniting Souls Conference. And the reason why it's truly a process is because every single person who comes gets lifetime access to the Igniting Souls tribe. It's a community. And forever and ever and ever, we encourage you, we build you up, we support you. I'm going to take you guys quickly through a few things on the website. Look at you, Pat. There's you. This I like that little effect there. That was pretty cool. This is last year. You know, last year we sold out. You know, last year, the one complaint. Guess what the one complaint was? It's too crowded. So David and I said, all right, it's true. People had to almost sit on the table. So what we did is we got the Hilton, and we said, we're going to grow this thing. And so we got double the size, and we have yet to do any Facebook ads. We have yet to do any public promotion, and we are already over halfway sold on it. And it's still 7 months away. So we're pretty excited about that. I'm going to show you guys real quick the website, because I think that there's a couple cool things that I want to share with you about this. And then we'll answer questions about your dream, and we'll do a little bit of Q&A. So here's the conference itself, and we have, of course I'll be there, but I wanted to get a dream team of people there. Anybody hear of Dan Miller, 48 Days of the Work You Love, #1 podcast on iTunes for career and jobs? Dan Miller is amazing. You want to know who his friends are, his inner circle? Dave Ramsey, Michael Hyatt. I mean, this guy is connected. He's been on CBS. He's been on the early show, Hardball. But here's the point. Dan shares our values. David knows. We had people last year try to pay us to get on stage and talk. They're like, we want to talk to your people so we can sell your people. We're like, no, you can't do that. And we didn't let them. We bring on people who share our values, who are going to give, who are not takers. Dan is like that. Dan's going to talk about the formula for establishing yourself as a true industry expert that attracts high profit and low maintenance clients. Isn't that cool? Dan's going to teach you his formula for doing that. Rachel Peterson, if you don't know who she is, amazing. She's speaking at a conference. She's what, 9 months, 8 months, 8.5 months pregnant, and she's speaking next week at a conference. She's been on Huffington Post. She's been on Daily Mail, the Today Show. She's very open with her mistakes. She said, you know what, I was a single pregnant mom. I don't want to say as a teenager maybe, but she said, like, my life was just done. And then today, she's one of the most highly sought out people for helping others market on social media. Just fantastic person. And she's going to be there teaching you how to use your social media. So every speaker is not there to entertain. Every speaker is there to say, here's a practical, tactical skill that you need to go to the next level. If you like today, what I'm doing is I'm going to take a deep, deep dive. You got kind of the Cliff Notes today. I'm going to take a deep dive in how to create dream achievement as a lifestyle. So not just one hero's journey, but how do you create a life that's a series of hero's journeys, and dream achievement becomes one of the things you put on your resume. Jeff Brown. Anybody ever want to create a podcast in their life? Anybody? Rick, you got one? You want to create one? Joel, you got one, kind of? You started one?
Yeah.
But here's the point. Jeff's going to come in, and he's going to share how to create a podcast that earns you 6 figures. This guy gets a call from Seth Godin. Hey, can I be on your Read to Lead podcast? Yeah. John Maxwell. Hey, Jeff, can I be on your Read to Lead podcast? Yes. Jeff Brown, Read to Lead podcast, over 2 million downloads. He's hired to teach people how to do award-winning podcasts. He's going to be there. Brad Burke. Anyone ever watch anything on YouTube? Anybody ever?
Your interview with him.
Okay. So, but that's the only
And
time
I
you've
bought
ever
the
been on
book.
YouTube?
You got me. I bought the book.
Okay. But has anybody ever been on YouTube? Ever? Only one person. Okay, all right. No. Come on, guys, right? YouTube, he's got 31 million views on YouTube. How? I've been consulting with him because I want to learn. So David and I have been consulting with him because we want to take our YouTube to the next level. He's coming to teach you guys how to leverage video to increase engagement for your book, brand, or business. What's the second highest search engine in the world? YouTube. It's Google's smart. Did Google buy YouTube?
Yes.
Yeah. Why? Because they know. They know that people don't want to just search for articles. People want to search for videos. And you guys can all be doing videos that helps people solve a problem. And it's a way that people can meet you for free that then leads them in a funnel. You guys see how our conference doesn't cost you anything? I mean, it is literally an investment that pays itself the exact next week. Dexter, anyone here like Dexter? Yeah. All right. I always confess the sin of envy after he speaks because he's so good. I mean, that dude is good. It's like an art form. He is going to teach you the art and science of maximizing your message and increasing your impact. You're going to speak in your life. Even me, an introvert, okay? If you're an introvert, it doesn't matter. You're going to speak in your life. And here's the little truth. I've done a lot of study on speaking. People assume, right or wrong, in fact it is wrong, people assume if you can speak well, that you must be good at many other things. Do you know that? Think about it for a moment. If somebody speaks up and they're just a really polished speaker and they're authentic, subconsciously you think, that person must be good at mowing their lawn. That person must be good at making smoothies. You know, and if someone gets up and stands up and they just bomb as a speaker, you're like, their lawn must look really bad. No, I'm kidding, but you guys are quiet today. You don't think I'm funny. That's all right. That's all right. It's all good. David. How many of you have ever heard David speak? Oh, yeah. Fire starter formula. David is going to share a proven system for scaling your business. If your business is required for you to insert time and get money, there's a ceiling. You realize that? There's a ceiling that if I have to invest all my time and therefore get money out the back end, that is a system that has an automatic ceiling to it, i.e. you'll run out of time. If you create systems and processes so that people can watch your stuff or buy your product or while you sleep, right, you make money based on some of your products, that is where scalability can go through the charts. That's the only way that you can get off the hamster wheel. David's going to teach you a system to do that. Dean, some of you saw Dean this morning. Dean is fantastic. Dean is the leader here at LifePoint. He's going to share how you can leverage your gifts, skills, and businesses to address global issues. A lot of you say, I don't want to just spend all this great money on myself. I want to invest it in other efforts around the world. Dean's going to share how you can be that type of minded person, which actually attracts more business and more success as well. Very cool. So that's the website. I'm just going to take you guys to the location. It's at the 4-diamond award-winning Hilton Polaris. I know people who used to drive from another state just to shop at the mall next door. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. We're doing it at a very upgraded place for a few reasons. Number one, we have a lot of international people who come. We want free airport shuttle service. This looks a little bit better than the Quest. Nothing wrong with the Quest, but you know, our main sessions, our breakout rooms, we're doing breakout rooms for the first time ever. We can actually do that. People have said in the past, I really wish I could just have Dan Miller in a room and have him teach a small group of us this. I wish Joanne Miller, his wife, could teach this. And we've always said, oh, we just can't do it because of the space. This year, we can actually have breakout sessions where you can say, hey, I want to learn more about that topic, and you go in a small breakout room with more personal attention. It's going to be very powerful. Meeting areas, spa. I'll skip that for me, but it's all good. Pool and hot tub, exercise room, restaurant, outside dining, fire pit, guest room, suites, executive rooms. It's crazy. It's really an upgrade, but we wanted that. In the past, we had to use the Quest. and our guests used 4 other hotel rooms. And that wasn't cool because community wasn't happening. Now we're taking over the hotel. We've negotiated a very discounted rate for people who are out of town, and they can leverage that. So we have the schedule. I'll just go over the schedule, and then we'll stop there, okay, and then answer any questions. We do have kind of a VIP ticket this year as well, where people who say, I kind of want an upgraded experience, I want to have access to the speakers, and I want one-on-one time with them. I want to be able to really pick their brain and have them help me out. We have a VIP track as well. They're going to get an opening night party with the conference speakers. David has an entire Spark Day on Friday morning, where he's going to, Friday morning in the early afternoon, it includes lunch, and he's going to just literally help you map out your business plan. Take your business to the next level. Look at areas where you could scale. He'll do that. We call that the Spark Day. Then the Igniting Souls Conference begins. And we have something called the Red Carpet Sessions, where it's going to be amazing presentations. In addition to that, we have the awards dinner that night, and then the Red Carpet photo shoot and the Author Academy Awards. Literally, we have judges and people from all over the world. This is a big media event. Joel Kessel and his company are connecting with media, and there's going to be a lot of attention. So if you have a book, if you have a desire, Erica, if you can post in there the free website to apply to the awards. We are literally opening up the awards for anyone who's ever written a book, just the first year. In future years, it will only be that year of books, but you can do previous books the first year. And we're excited. We have judges that are New York Times bestselling authors. We have agents. We have the former CEO of Ingram Distribution, which is the largest distributor of books in the world, Skip Pritchard. Then we start the full day Saturday, full day Sunday. It will literally be fantastic. I've already talked about these sessions, but it's one of those things where I truly believe it costs you not to come. Where if you are, nothing against the Buckeye game, but if all you're doing on that weekend is watching the Buckeye game, and by the way, it's a bye week on purpose, all right? But if you're watching another sports team, like, what are you doing to add value to yourself and your business? This is an event that is going to be epic. It's going to be life-changing. Rick Copeland, can you take these? I only printed about 10, and anybody who wants to look over it, they can do that. We are in the early bird phase right now, so the tickets are $200 off. Put it this way, hand it to people who aren't signed up yet, okay? That would be awesome. I want to answer questions, though. While we're doing that, does anyone else have any questions about achieving their dream? About what do you do if your loved ones don't support you in your dream? Anything that you guys have, any questions? Any questions?
Pat's got one.
Yeah, Pat, go for it.
When you talk about breakout sessions.
Yes, the breakout sessions.
Just say it's podcast, say it's
Yeah.
learning to be the podcast. Well, if you are interested in more than one,
Yes.
will they be recorded so you can get those?
I believe on purpose, we are going to do 2 cycles of breakouts. And David and I will chat more about that, but we will make it available where if you really are torn between a couple, there'll be a way that you can get that, because I truly believe we're going to make them shorter breakouts so that you can then go to multiple ones. Great question. Great question. The other cool thing is Business Academy Elite, essentially a lot of the presentations, you'll meet some of the speakers there as well. In other words, some of the Business Academy Elite modules contain also sessions from that type of speaker. Different sessions, but still good. Other questions related to the conference or just what we talked about today? Closing the gap between you and your dream. Anybody? What about online, Eric? Any questions?
There's just, about the book submission. Can an individual enter more than one book to the awards?
Let's do it. They can't enter the same book in multiple categories, but if they've written a bunch of books, sure, go for it. Great question. I'm going to close with the crab story. Some of you have heard the crab story, some of you haven't. Probably most of you haven't. But there is a real story about these types of crab. It's a certain type of species. And the reason why, did I say that right, species? Yeah, okay, just check. The reason why I'm sharing this is because some of us have people around us that aren't real nice. Maybe they're a little crabby, right? Who knows? This dude, does he look happy? I don't know if you can see it. This dude looks happy, all right? He looks happy. He looks like he's about to eat some crabs. I'm not, but he looks happy. Here's the point. This certain type of crab, what they do is they use simply a basket with a certain type of bait in it. And these are usually very deep, these baskets. And all they do, they're very tricky crabs, this certain species. So they put that little crab trap down there, sprinkle some food in there, and wait. And along comes a crab. And it looks and it says, Thanksgiving, right? This looks good. Crawls down in there, begins to eat. Friends look, and they say, look at that crab. He must know something we don't. Let's go down there. They go down there. And pretty soon, these crabs, they just start jumping in this basket. And it gets pretty rowdy, it gets pretty crazy. They eat up all the bait. And one of them says, no more food. In other words, it says, I dream of freedom. I dream that something is fishy down here. Something isn't right. So it begins to crawl up the side of the basket. The other crabs aren't happy. What they begin to do is pull the crab down. And they pull it down, and it tries to climb back up. And they pull it down, and it tries to climb back up. And pretty soon, the other crabs, if it continues to climb up, they actually rip its claws off and kill it. Now, why am I telling you that violent story? Because that's how we are as humans. We as humans don't use ripping off people's arms and legs, hopefully. We use other civilized things like scorn or shame or doubt. When someone around us who grew up at the same school or in the same family or the same workplace says, you know what, I think I'm having a dream to climb up out of here. I think I'm having a dream for something higher, for something that is going to stretch me. I'm going to escape from this current place that I'm at. Not because I don't like you guys, but because something inside me is pulling me up to something greater. And you begin to climb up on that dream, and what happens? They take shots. Who do you think you are? What degree do you have? Where's your experience? Or they say, you know, your uncle did that once, and it didn't turn out well for him. And they begin to bring you back with words and shame and stonewalling and questioning. And pretty soon, you have a choice. Am I either going to choose to remain where I currently am, or am I going to choose to break free? That's the question each one of us need to answer today. So Erica, if you can share the conference link with the individuals today. Thank you guys for coming. I hope it was inspirational for you. I hope you walk away with some actionable items. And most importantly, I hope that you say yes to your dream. Because your dream is not just about you. That's the big lie that a lot of times we think about in our American culture, at least here. We think, oh, it's all about me. It's all about my dream. It's actually not. It's about your future customers. It's about your future followers. It's about your future readers that will get to partake in the fruits of your dream, even though you don't know who they are right now. That's the gap of faith that you have to swallow, is say, you know what, I know it feels like I'm all alone right now, but one day there will be a room full of people or readers, or someone will email me and said, I read your book, or I bought your product and it changed my life. Thanks for coming today, guys, and I wish you the best.